Welcome again. Let's start with task number 7 of the listening module, which is called Highlight Incorrect Words. Popularly, it's called HIW. This is the 7th task in the test, the second last task of the test as well. What happens is you'll get a passage on your screen. The passage is roughly this much in size, like 3 to 4 sentences, sometimes even 5 or 6 sentences. It can be a bit lengthy as well. Also, simultaneously, along with seeing the passage, you will be listening to the audio as well. So you will see the transcript on your screen and you'll listen to the audio in your headsets. What you need to do is, whenever you hear a word which doesn't match with the word on the screen, you just have to click on that word with your mouse. As soon as you click that word, it will be highlighted, generally in yellow color or some other color. That's why this task is called Highlight Incorrect Words. Incorrect meaning the word in the transcript which doesn't match with the word in the audio. The number of questions you get for this task is minimum 1, generally 2, and sometimes even 3. The more you get, the better. Always remember this simple rule in integrated tasks. The more the number of questions and the more your accuracy, the higher your scores will be, because these tasks are integrated, means 2 in 1. Now you'll be doing two things together simultaneously. You will be listening to the audio, you will be reading the passage. That's why it's an integrated task which will give you marks in listening and reading both. This is a really important task. It can easily give you approximately 8 to 12 points in listening and reading scores both. That's why the more the number of questions, the easier it will be to maximize not only your listening scores but also your reading score. Now, before I delve deep into this task, let me discuss the scoring parameters and the scoring criteria. As per the PT score guide, this task has partial negative marking. There are 3 tasks in PT which have partial negative marking, 1 in the reading module, 2 in listening. In reading, that task is multiple choice, choose multiple answers. In listening, you have multiple choice, choose multiple answers, and highlight incorrect words. Now, what it means is, for every incorrect word which you have marked correctly, you get plus 1 point in listening and reading both per word. And for every word which you have clicked but which is not incorrect, you get minus 1. What it means is plus 1, minus 1. And if you don't click any word which is incorrect, according to PT, there is no penalty, you just get a 0. So let's say in each passage you get 5 to 6 such words. You get 2 questions, that's around 8 to 10 words. You get 3 questions, that's 14 to 15 words. That's roughly 10 to 15 points in listening and approximately similar in reading also, approximately. Now, the only problem with this task is that actually there is a massive penalty for mistakes, which means if you click a word which is not incorrect, but you think it's incorrect and you have clicked it, generally the penalty is going to be 6 to 8 points. It could be in listening or reading or sometimes in both. And the other problem is, if you're not sure or if you miss any word, and if you can't click it, still there is a penalty of at least 4 to 5 points in listening or reading or both. So both ways there is a penalty, even if you click the wrong word or if you miss clicking the incorrect word. So that's the problem with this task. Generally it's an easy task but requires 100% accuracy if you're targeting a decent score in PT academic. Now, generally speaking, this task seems and sounds very simple. It is simple because there is just some audio which is playing, and as soon as you hear any different word which doesn't match with the audio, and if you read it, you just have to click it. Now, generally these are prominent words, like small words like in, on, the, such words, there will be no mistakes in. There will be prominent words. So let's say in the audio you hear loyal, and in the passage it will read let's say loyal. So royal, loyal, different, right? Similar sounding but different, absolutely different words. So there won't be mistakes in small words like in, on, other, off, or no. Prominent words will be different. And generally per question, as I said, minimum 3 incorrect words would be there generally. Maximum could be 5, 6 or 7 per passage. That's a lot of points. Now, to make this as difficult, what PT does generally is, in one of the questions, the audio can be really fast and very unclear. That's one issue with this task, Secondly, they can add some disturbance or some sounds in the background, like some music is going on in the background, somebody is coughing or sneezing, and there's a lot of noise, like, normal like disturbance or sound pollution, you might call it. So all these things happen purposely. The third problem with this task is suddenly PT can change the speed of the audio. So it's playing at a very normal speed, just imagine, and suddenly you might feel that why are they rushing so much, and suddenly, like, it could also be a conversation, like two people, like a dialogue, two people are talking, male, female, or male, male. It could also be like a quick interview, for example. I'm just giving examples, right? All these things make this simple task unbelievably difficult at times, and you need to be really alert. My suggestion is, before the audio, you get 10 seconds. In those 10 seconds, you must try to read the passage as quickly as possible and try to understand. So try to read aloud but softly, like whisper. Just keep your mouse ready and move the mouse cursor on all words while you're reading it before the beep sound or before the actual audio starts in those 10 seconds. Once the audio starts, just start moving your mouse cursor again and start speaking with the speaker. Try to keep pace. Don't lose pace, don't lose concentration, don't lose focus. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem. As soon as you listen to a word which is different from what is written on the screen, click it. By mistake, if you think that that word was okay and you clicked it by mistake, you can re-click that word later and it will be deselected. So that is a good thing in this task. But don't take notes or anything. Don't note down the wrong words, just click them while you listen to the audio. That's the best way. And as I said, try to read aloud the whole passage with the speaker softly, not loudly, but softly, so that your brain processes those words which are incorrect. Sometimes the audio might start normally from the first word which is in the transcript on your screen in the passage, but a few words or maybe a sentence could be skipped in the audio and suddenly there is a jump to a next sentence after skipping one full sentence or a few words. This is not done on purpose, but it could happen sometimes. So what I recommend is you have to be really alert. You need to practice this task a lot. Because it's a second last task, it's a high stakes task, it's worth a lot of points. You cannot afford to be overconfident. You cannot afford to lose your focus right at this sort of end task or the penultimate task or the second last task of the exam. You need all your attention and energy in that task. The more questions you get and the higher your accuracy, the better. But I already warned you about the consequences of mistakes and also about leaving words unclicked. Both ways you're going to lose points because of these secret penalties. Now again, you might ask me or you might think, hey Malcolm, how do you know about these penalties? Nowhere in the PT score guide is it mentioned. Well, I know from my experience of teaching thousands of students, as I have been honest earlier as well. So this is my personal experience I'm sharing with you so that you don't make the same mistakes which a countless number of students make because they don't know how these mistakes affect the final scores in the test. The only solution to this task is a lot of practice. Also, when you practice at home or wherever you're practicing from our portal, for example, we have hundreds of thousands of questions for each task. I would suggest you to keep some disturbance on in the background, especially in your speaking tasks practice and listening module practice tasks, so that in the exam, whenever such disturbance happens, your brain will be alert and you would have already gone through the same situation before a number of times in your practice sessions. Don't take this task lightly. Don't neglect it in your daily practice. Just 5 to 10 questions practice, but practice them daily. Believe me, if you practice 300 or 400 of these questions, you will become a pro and a master and get 100% accuracy in this task. Because if you're targeting a score of 65 each or 79 each, there should be not even a single mistake. And I've seen the best of students making silly mistakes in this task because they don't practice it or they take it too lightly before their final exams. So that's the main thing you need to focus on, guys. That's all about highlight incorrect words. Thank you for your time.